My name is Justyna, and I will spend with you the next 15 minutes telling you about my passion, which is space tech. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. Thank you to the organizers. I was taking part this morning in debate about AI, and I've seen all the great presentations, debates. I hope that you are still full of energy and be here with us for the next minutes. So, can they see the presentation? Okay, thank you. As I said, my name is Justyna. I've been working in the last 15 years in the European Union Agency for the Space Programs. But 3 months ago, I decided to change my life, and I opened a company which is called Three Hazel Partners. And there I'm helping companies to understand how they can use space technologies. I'm also a founder of Cosmic, which is my freelancing practice where I coach and mentor startups and also help them to explore all the space technologies. So today I will be focusing a little bit on what space technologies can do on Earth. Let me just show you all the pictures. I forgot that there is some animation on the slides. Many of you know already that you use space technologies. You don't think about it, but when you open your Google Maps and you get guided somewhere, you are actually guided by a satellite that is 20,000 kilometers away from you. It's so common today that you are not even excited anymore about it, but there are people like me that still are. So I just wanted to tell you that on average, every Polish person or every European person, it's similar statistics almost everywhere in the world, is using around 80 times space technologies during the day. We don't even think about it, but this is the fact. And we use it when we do some operations on the farm. We use it when we land the airplane. We use it when we make operations on the stock exchange. We use it when we use our phone because GNSS is synchronizing the networks. So this is all used and this is all known. So what is new? What changed is that satellites today deliver to Earth around 20 terabytes of data every day. This data continuously flow, and there are so many of them that in the past they were not used to its full potential. I can say that today maybe 5% of data that are collected in orbit are used. And now we have AI, we have much better tools for data processing, and we can observe the revolution of the use of satellite data on Earth. And I could present you maybe 200 different application areas for banking, for insurance companies, for automotive, for telecom, but this is not the message that I want to transmit, because you that are watching us, that are working in these sectors, you will have many more ideas on how to use the data than what we have today. So instead, I would like to inspire you to think of what you can do in your business with satellite data, and I will give you a few tools to do that. So first of all, we know what's going on now with the satellite data. So you know now and you react now. For example, on the left side on the slide, you have the map of Dublin in Ireland, and you see in different colors which parts of the city are urban parts, which parts are the green areas, where are the streets, where are the human settlements, and so on. With this knowledge, you can do something. So you know, for example, where are the green areas in the city and how it will impact for example, the temperature. It is known that every percent of more coverage of beton, of asphalt in the city increases the temperature. So you know what's the situation today and you can act. On the right side, you see the fire in Spain. So you detect with the satellite that there is a fire and you can act upon it. This is the first situation that you can use in all the sectors of economy. So you have, of course, many different types of data, but what I want to say is that you understand what's going on right now. Then is the second case. that we add the time dimension. And this is where the satellite data become really powerful, because you don't only know what's happening now, but you have the data series for the last 10 years. And so on the left side, you see the flooding in Philippines, and you can analyze by knowing how the flooding was happening maybe in the past, or how the structure of the terrain was in the past. And you know how to react today because you know all the history. On the right side, you see the pollution of the air. In that specific case, it's the nitrogen dioxide, but you can understand trends. So the time dimension is really powerful. And knowing the trend, you can predict the future. So this is the ultimate potential of the satellite data. So knowing how the icebergs, glaciers were melting in the past, you can understand the trend. Knowing what is the situation today, you know how bad it is. And based on that, you can predict the future. And you can know that, for example, the sea level will rise by 2030 by this amount. On the right side, you see the average temperatures. August 2025 was the hottest month ever in history. And so again, you have the data for the last 10 years, you can see how the situation is today, and you can predict the future. And this is the real power. And knowing the trends, you can see how the cities were growing, how the deforestation is happening, how the glaciers are melting, how the structure of the soil is, how the deserts are increasing. So you have the full information about our ecosystem. But why do you care? If you are in commercial entity, we know very well that what rules is money. So of course, some of the environmental protection applications can be monetized. There are NGOs that have funds for that. There are public institutions that will support you. But satellite data also help you in your commercial businesses. So here on this slide, I'm presenting just a few examples on urban planning, on infrastructure monitoring, solar power, solar plants, because from the satellite, we can see much more than what we can see with the human eyes. Sometimes we say satellite pictures, but picture doesn't show you temperature, doesn't show you wind speed, doesn't show you ground movements. So satellites give you so much more information. And for example, if you are planning a solar plant, or now we have big infrastructure projects that are coming, wind farms in Baltic Sea and so on, you can calculate, because as I said, you know the past, you know what's going on now, you can predict the future. So you know in the past how much wind there was, what was the wind speed over the Baltic Sea, so you know how much energy you can generate, you know what's the situation today, you can predict the future. So you can do planning on how much energy you can use. So for example, you are in the energy, you know what to do, but you can also ask for a loan. You build an infrastructure, you ask for a loan, you are able to predict the future, understand how much energy you will generate, how much there is a risk of different climate change on your infrastructure. So there are so many applications in banking, in insurance, in infrastructure. On the bottom right side, you see the picture of these round elements. These are the places where you keep oil. So by the level of the height of these tanks, I would say, you are able to predict how much oil was produced. If you summarize this information around the world, you know what is the supply of oil, and you know what the price of oil will be. So really, sky is the limit of what you can invent, what you can do with the data. And as I said, I can present you 200 examples, but it's you, with your sectoral knowledge, with your business knowledge, that you can create much more. And what kind of data we have? So we have all the data related to atmosphere. So temperature, humidity, all the pollution, all the pollen. In the agency, when I was working with it, some pilot projects, for example, with pollen, with one pharmaceutical company, we created a digital inhaler that was dosing your anti-allergic medication based on the real pollen status in the atmosphere. So you don't have to take always the same doses, because one day there is more birch pollen, another day there is different pollen, and you don't have to put so much of this medication into your body, but you really adjust it in real time. ocean data. We can see what is the situation in the ocean, what is the wind, what is the wave height, what is the salinity, what are the algae blooms. So this is all supporting the maritime industry, the coastal ecosystem. So everything can be sensed from the satellites. And of course, all the information about land use, everything that is used for agriculture. But again, this is what is done today. But it's up to all of you to invent new applications. Based on the data, then there are ready services. And what is beautiful is that in the Copernicus program of the European Union, all these data are free. So you have access to enormous potential. And this data, because there are so many of them, it is a little bit overwhelming. People don't know where to start. So Copernicus created these different services that group different sets of data. They are already adjusted for a given industry or given type of solutions, and you can simply download them from the website. And if you don't know where to start, you can always come to me. Then a little bit about where to turn. So let's say you are working in Tesla, Bayer, I don't know, some company, and you say, okay, maybe I can start using satellite data. So the ecosystem of the industry suppliers is very complex. In very, very simple approach, you can distinguish three groups, but it's much more complex, but I don't want to go so much into the complexity. So you have consulting companies, like my company, that will help you to understand the strategy, where to use, they will plan for you, but they don't have the tools themselves. They can maybe develop something customized, but this is the first step for big corporations. Then you have the providers of ready solutions. So these are tools, like for example, you can build your own CRM IT tool, or you can buy Salesforce. So this is a little bit similar. So with consulting companies, you can develop a strategy, maybe build something customized, but there are many solutions already existing. And again, these logos are examples. There is thousands of those type of companies. And the last group is providers that have their own commercial data. So I mentioned about Copernicus. Copernicus is the free program, but it offers certain resolution. So you may have maybe in some cases not enough resolution, not enough time revisit for your application. So there are also other providers like ICEYE, Constellar, Absolute Sensing, Hydrosat. They have their own satellite and cover the gaps that publicly available data may not always have. How big is the market? It's growing. It's growing very fast. The total revenue in 2023 was already more than 3 billion euro. And I have a good news. If you look at the graph on the right side, the blue bar represents the applications, what IT people can do with satellite data. The green bars are the data. So you see that much bigger potential is in the applications. So if you work in IT, you can learn how to process this satellite data and generate these revenues. So this is really good news, because I think that in the data part, there is already quite a maturity achieved, but in the applications, there is no limit, and there is much more that can be done. And I would like to mention that there is now a practical way of how this can be monetized, or how you can quickly transition to space. So together with the Akademia Górniczo-Hutnicza, so the university in Kraków, we created these 3 weeks courses to transition to space. So the first one is on Earth observation for innovation and business. And within 3 weeks, we train you. What are the different data, how to use it, where to find them, and then we do really practical project for your business. So if you work in pharma, you will work on data for pharma. If you work in energy, you will work on data for energy. And the second one is for cybersecurity. So if you work on cyber, if you are interested in this topic, in 3 weeks you can learn how not to secure the IT infrastructure on Earth, but how to secure satellites and the software that is in orbit. So I really encourage you, Google Space Studies short-term courses on AGH, and maybe start your career in space. Thank you.